If you've ever set a New Year's resolution, watched your motivation fade, and eventually found yourself giving up on your goal, it isn't caused by a lack of willpower. There's an internal dynamic most people don't understand that's quietly sabotaging their success. And once you recognize it, you can stop pushing against yourself. This can even show up for conscious people who've done a lot of inner work. In this video, I want to walk you through 5 key reasons resolutions don't stick. And the last one is the most important key because it determines whether real change actually becomes sustainable. The first key is that willpower was never the problem. Have you ever noticed how motivated you could feel at the beginning of a goal, and then weeks later that motivation just isn't there anymore? And it's not because you don't care enough. In fact, often the goals that you care the most about are the hardest to sustain. So what do most people do when this happens? They assume they need more discipline, more willpower, more force. So they try to fix their behavior. They push harder. They force themselves to stay on track. They rely on willpower to carry them through. And sometimes that works. But many times it's short-lived. Here's an important dynamic most people don't realize. Willpower only works when your nervous system feels safe. When a part of you doesn't feel comfortable with the change, willpower turns into pressure, and pressure creates inner conflict. Why? Because your nervous system is trying to protect you. And when that protection isn't acknowledged, it gets louder. If you've ever felt like you were fighting yourself instead of moving forward, this is why. So how do we resolve this inner conflict? We create alignment. When you're aligned, you don't need willpower. Alignment happens when the part of you that wants change and the part of you that's trying to stay safe are no longer fighting each other. When that happens, actions start to feel less forced, more natural, more fluid. And we'll explore how to create this inner alignment later in this video. The second key is that many goals are driven by fear rather than authentic desire. A lot of New Year's resolutions sound empowering on the surface. I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to finally put myself out there. I want to build something meaningful. All reasonable goals. But underneath, the real driver behind these goals is often something we're trying to avoid. I don't want to feel inferior. I don't want to feel rejected. I don't want to feel like I failed. I don't want to feel like I wasted my potential. When that's the case, the goal becomes a way to escape an uncomfortable feeling. If you've ever noticed pressure, urgency, or heaviness attached to a goal, this is often what's underneath it. Many goals form as an attempt to escape uncomfortable feelings. Someone says, I want to get in shape, but underneath is the fear of being judged or criticized or feeling not enough. Someone else says, I want to follow my passion, but underneath is pressure. If I don't do this now, I'll miss my chance. If I don't do this, I'll fall behind. If I don't do this, I'll regret it. When a goal is driven by avoidance, something important is missing. You see, avoidance doesn't truly fulfill you. And when a goal doesn't fulfill you, your energy slowly drains. You keep going, but it starts to feel empty, heavy, disconnected. Because that energy isn't anchored into what you generally want. It's anchored in what you're trying to avoid. And fear-driven goals don't generate nourishing energy over time. They quietly drain it. They become a coping mechanism to satisfy fear, taking focus and energy away from what you truly desire. This is often the moment most people think they need more motivation, when what's actually missing is alignment. Now let's say the goal isn't driven by fear. You genuinely want to grow. You genuinely want to change, and still resistance shows up. Why is that? Because your nervous system has become conditioned to protect what has kept you safe for years, sometimes even decades. If safety has meant being responsible, not taking risks, keeping the peace, making predictable decisions, then stepping into something new can feel unsettling to the body. That's when you start saying things like, I'll start next week. I just need to get through this first. Now isn't the right time. This is another important key. Your nervous system sets your priorities. And if you want to know what your real priorities are, you don't look at what you intend to do. You look at what you actually choose. Your actions reveal your real priorities. Now, here's what most people miss. Those priorities aren't set by logic or intention. They're set by the nervous system. Your nervous system prioritizes safety before growth, even when growth is something you truly want inside. That's why familiar patterns rooted in safety can override new behaviors. Your nervous system is trying to avoid overwhelm, conflict, and emotional discomfort. It tries to keep life predictable. Familiar patterns feel safer than unknown change, even when those patterns don't completely fulfill you. If something helped you to survive before, your nervous system may choose it again, even when something new is calling you forward. That's why you can care deeply about what you want to change and still find yourself choosing the same patterns again and again. Now here's where all of this connects. They all trace back to one root mechanism: emotional imprints, and how they shape your nervous system. For many people, this is the missing link. In psychology, emotional imprints form through significant emotional experiences, often called SEEs. These are moments that are either emotionally painful or emotionally positive. They carry enough intensity to program how your nervous system responds to the world. During those moments, your nervous system is automatically adapting. It's learning what it needs to do to meet your needs, to stay safe, and to survive emotionally. This comes from our natural survival mechanisms. As human beings, we evolved to learn quickly from threats. It only takes one experience of seeing someone attacked by a tiger for the nervous system to wire tigers as dangerous. From that point on, your body doesn't stop to think, it reacts. That fast learning kept us alive. But as humans evolved, the threat changed. They weren't always life-threatening, but to the nervous system, they felt like they were. Maybe you were bullied at school, abandoned by a parent, embarrassed in front of a class, or betrayed by someone you had trusted. In those moments, your nervous system learned strategies to protect you emotionally. Those experiences can encode emotional energy, core beliefs, and behavioral patterns directly into your biology. When an imprint is active, the emotions that show up are designed to meet an unmet need formed during your original experience. So you might say you want love, but your system is protecting against abandonment. You might say you want success, but your system is protecting you against rejection. You might say you want freedom, but your system is protecting you against being controlled. These reactions may have been helpful when you were young and didn't have the ability to protect yourself. But as an adult, those same reactions are often no longer needed. And instead of protecting you, they start to hijack your decisions. Emotional imprints can be so strong that they override conscious decisions. Because to your body, anything that feels like a survival threat takes priority over everything else. This is where conscious leadership becomes essential. Conscious leadership means recognizing that no one else is coming to reorganize your inner world for you. And it is your inner world that creates your reality, your future. Conscious leadership is the moment where you stop waiting for motivation to return, for circumstances to change, for clarity to arrive, and instead you choose to lead. Conscious leadership is taking full responsibility without self-blame, not judging yourself, not forcing yourself, just recognizing that this is yours to lead. Because once you understand how your nervous system works and how emotional imprints shape it, you're no longer a passenger in your own life, driven by your past. You become someone who can create alignment between what you want and what you feel and how you act. Conscious leadership is learning the skills to shape your nervous system so you're not fighting yourself anymore. You're working with your system, aligning who you are today with what you genuinely want to do next. And when alignment replaces your inner conflict, change stops feeling forced. You stop pushing. You stop second guessing. You stop wasting your energy from the resistance. Conscious leadership is about creating inner alignment, clarity, and flow. Your direction becomes clearer. Your energy expands, and taking conscious action starts to feel natural again. Once you understand these keys, you can see the real dynamics driving the actions you're taking. Willpower only works when your system feels safe. Fear can quietly distort your desires. Your nervous system sets your priorities. Emotional imprints shape how your system responds, and conscious leadership is what allows real change to happen. Once you can see these underlying dynamics, you finally understand where real change actually begins. But understanding the dynamics is only the first step. The real shift happens when you learn how to shape your nervous system and create the inner alignment that makes change sustainable. If you want to take this to the next level and develop the skills to lead your inner world instead of fighting it, that's exactly what we do in this free live workshop. Why New Year's resolutions don't stick and what actually creates a life-changing year. This isn't a motivational talk. It's a skill-building experience. The workshop allows you to create the clarity that makes lasting change possible, not by pushing yourself, but by learning to work with your nervous system. You learn how emotional imprints form, how they organize your nervous system, and what allows resistance to soften so you can come into alignment. You won't just understand this intellectually, you'll be guided through a somatic experience so your system can actually feel the difference. This is where insight turns into something you can actually lead from. If you're ready to stop managing yourself and start leading from alignment, the link to the free live workshop is in the description below.